From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the News at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Amarachi Ubani.
Good evening and welcome. Tonight, confirmed cases of coronavirus in Nigeria climb to 46 as the NCDC confirms one new case in Lagos, bringing its total to 30, and another in Osun State being its first confirmed case. President Muhammadu Buhari and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo both test negative to the coronavirus amid fears of COVID-19 in the presidency following Chief of Staff's positive test. 4 governors go into self-isolation after coming in contact with confirmed cases of coronavirus. And COVID-19 enters British royal family as Charles, the Prince of Wales, tests positive to the virus as global death toll surpasses 20,000. Plus business, sports, and news from Abuja, the FCT, and later, international news from our London studios.
On business news tonight, federal government proposes $30 a barrel on oil benchmark for 2020 budget review as international oil prices plunge.
On sports news tonight, tennis legend Roger Federer donates over $1 million to vulnerable families in Switzerland as sports stars help out during the coronavirus pandemic.
And from Abuja, Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, spearheads coalition of private sector organizations to support government efforts to tackle the coronavirus menace after his foundation pledges 200 million naira to help curb its spread.
Two new cases of coronavirus have been confirmed in the country, bringing the total number to 46. Apart from that information, which came in very early in the day, it's been a relatively quiet one from the health authorities. The National Center for Disease Control, the NCDC, says the new cases are in Lagos, while the second is in Osun State, being the first confirmed case of coronavirus. According to the NCDC, both cases are travelers who returned to Nigeria in the last 7 days. A breakdown of the confirmed cases shows that Lagos now has 30, the FCT 8, Ogun State 3, Ekiti, Oyo, Edo, Bauchi, and Osun have 1 case each. And out of the total 46 cases, 43 are described by the NCDC as active, 2 cases discharged, and 1 recorded death. The fact that the nation's #1 citizen has tested negative to the coronavirus has been described by the presidency as a thing of joy. President Muhammadu Buhari's special advisor on media and publicity, Mr. Femi Adesina, in an interview at the State House, also explains why the presidency is on a partial lockdown, among other issues.
So that calls for rejoicing with him. Anybody that does the test and tests negative, we rejoice with that person. And anybody that does it and tests positive, it's not a death sentence. We also would pray along with the person, give the person our goodwill and best wishes, and they will surely come out of it. The Executive Council was suspended because of the size. You have over 50 people seated in the council chambers whenever the meeting holds. And that is not advisable at a time like this. But if there will be a very important decision to be taken, you can always summon the relevant people, 3, 4, or 5, and hold a small meeting and arrive at a decision. It does not mean that one man is going to be taking all the decisions. Of course, yes, there are executive decisions, but the ones that must pass through consultation and which must have the buy-in of the Federal Executive Council can always be discussed at smaller meetings. What happened is that in the press gallery, you have about 108 journalists in that single hall. And it goes contrary to the spirit of the times. The times dictate that you don't have too many people congregated in one place. Imagine 108 journalists, and if one of them happens to catch the virus, he spreads it among all the journalists. So we said, for now, let them stay away. Not much is happening for now. Let the journalists stay away, but we picked a certain number, representative of the media. They will come in. If there is anything, they will cover. And those outside will also not miss, because there will be a system in which they can share reports.
Apart from the president testing negative, the vice president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has also been confirmed not to have the coronavirus. His special assistant on media and publicity, Laulu Akonde, confirmed this to Channels Television in a text message. The nation's number 2 citizen embarked on self-isolation yesterday as he awaited the result of his test. There were reports that the vice president may have had contacts with some individuals who tested positive to the coronavirus, including the chief of staff to the president, Mr. Abba Kyari. Some of those who came into contact with the chief of staff to the president are not taking any chances, especially those in positions of authority. As of the last count, 4 governors have gone into self-isolation, namely those governors of Edo, Ekiti, Niger, and Nasarawa states. A statement from the spokesperson to the Edo State Governor, Godwin Obaseki, says he had close contact with the chief of staff to the president at the National Executive Council meeting. The governor of Ekiti State, Mr. Kayode Fayemi, on his part, explained that he decided to embark on self-isolation because he recently had a meeting with 2 other persons who had tested positive to the virus. For the Niger State Governor, Abubakar Bello, his presence at the Nigeria Governors Forum meeting on March 18th informed his embarking on self-isolation because he had had contact with his counterpart from Bauchi State who has tested positive. The Nasarawa State Governor, Abdullahi Sule, explains that he has also gone into self-isolation as a precautionary measure after coming in contact with some persons who have tested positive for the coronavirus, including the chief of staff to the president, Abba Kyari. He, however, says all the tests conducted on him have turned out negative. In spite of the confirmation of the first coronavirus case in Osun State, Governor Boyega Oyetola is asking residents not to panic. The governor told journalists in Osogbo, the state capital, that the government has taken proactive measures even before the latest development to curtail spread of the virus. The governor says more measures are being added to put the spread under check.
He is a returnee from the United Kingdom and is currently receiving treatment. The sample was tested at the NCDC Accredited Testing Center, which is the African Center of Excellence in Genomics of Infectious Diseases, Ede, Osun, and the results returned positive on Tuesday night. However, this confirmed case is not the first one we'll be subjecting to investigation, but so far all the others have tested negative. The government has contacted the family of the patient and has since commenced contact tracing. To further contain the spread, the following measures take immediate effect. 1, a task force has been set up to man all the state land borders and conduct preliminary screening. 2, all major markets will be shut down with effect from Friday, March 27. However, traders are allowed to sell food items in front of their houses. Pharmacies are also exempted from this ban. 3, the ban on public gatherings, church services, mosques, social events, and political meetings, among others, remain in force. Fellow citizens and residents of Abia State, do not panic. The case is under control.
Meanwhile, the National Center for Disease Control has again warned of the danger of Nigerians resorting to using chloroquine tablets as treatment against the coronavirus. Making the announcement on its Twitter handle, the NCDC warns the resorting to self-help may not be in the best interest of the carrier and may lead to death. This announcement on whether or not the anti-malarial drug can cure the disease was sparked by the spike in demand after comments by U.S. President Donald Trump on March 19th, where he gave approval for chloroquine to be used as treatment against coronavirus. In the South, the Cross River State government has enforced a thorough screening check at state entry and exit routes in a bid to ramp up efforts to ensure the state remains safe and COVID-19 free. According to the state governor, Professor Ben Ayade, this is in view of the reality of the coronavirus pandemic. Speaking shortly after the screening at a major entry and exit routes to and from Calabar, the state capital, the governor appealed for support to both the federal government and development partners.
This is Tinapa Junction, the major entry and exit point to and from Calabar, the Cross River State capital. As part of efforts to fight the COVID-19 pandemic, particularly its spread, the Cross River State government has mandated everyone visiting or leaving the state to go through this process. The government is insisting that all its land, air and water borders are on lockdown, as access will be based only on passing through a thorough screening regime. The state governor, Ben Ayade, also submits himself for the exercise.
We have no case at all, but we must continue with this until this scourge is gone and put behind us. We have 9 entry points into Cross River State. All of them are totally manned. And if myself, the number one citizen, is subjecting himself to the full screening, who will not? We'll call on federal government and international community to give us support. We just set up an isolation center. Ventilators and the rest are quite required. We need more of the mask. The Cross River Garment Factory is getting ready to start mass production of this mask. But hopefully, in the course of time, this will come in large quantities. But the people of Cross River are all complying. We have locked down the state. Schools have been closed down. The elections that were supposed to hold on Saturday stopped. Congresses today stopped. Everything has come to a halt because the safety of our lives, of our citizens, is far more important than the money or the wealth they would have created today.
Medical doctors are also rising to the occasion as they are calling off their strike action.
The indefinite withdrawal of medical services in both private and public hospitals across the state is hereby suspended, and medical and dental practitioners in Cross River State are directed to resume duties immediately. The COVID-19 pandemic is a reality, with increasing number of confirmed cases in Nigeria, as reported by the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, and Federal Ministry of Health. We therefore call on the state government to enforce ban on large gatherings and review to a more stringent limited number as the risk increases.
They also promised to provide hand sanitizers to both public and private hospitals across the state. All these are part of efforts to ensure that the spread of the disease is not just checked, but the curve of the pandemic is flattened.
Neighbouring River State is taking more stringent measures as the government has shut the Port Harcourt International Airport, all land and sea borders, and restricted vehicular movements in and out of the state. The state governor, Yemi Wike, gave the directive today following what he describes as the state's narrow escape from being infected. He said vigilant security agents had acted on a tip-off by preventing an infected person from boarding a flight from Abuja to Port Harcourt on Tuesday. Governor Wike adds that security agencies have been empowered to strictly enforce the directive on the closure of the airport, the land and sea borders in the state, as there will be no room for sacred cows because the virus is no respecter of persons. In part two, after the break, Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, spearheads coalition of private sector organizations to support government's efforts to tackle the coronavirus menace after his foundation pledges 200 million naira to help curb its spread. Join us again.